There's a quiet moment that most women over 60 have experienced at least once. You catch a glimpse of yourself, maybe in a mirror you weren't expecting, or in a photo someone snapped without warning, and something feels just a little off. Not dramatic, not devastating, just off. Like your hair has quietly stopped working with you and started working against you. Here's what so many women in this season of life don't hear often enough. The right haircut holds extraordinary power. It can genuinely make you look a full decade younger. Not by hiding who you are, but by beautifully revealing who you truly are. Elegantly, confidently, radiantly. Today on Timeless Wisdom Path, we're walking through 7 rejuvenating haircuts that are genuinely changing how women in their 60s look and feel about themselves. These are not trends designed for 20-year-olds. These are real styles for the real woman you are right now. Rich, refined, and absolutely ready to be seen. Stay all the way to the end, because the haircut we save for last might just be the one that changes everything for you. Let's begin. Soft layered bob that breathes life into your look. The soft layered bob has quietly become one of the most beloved and transformative haircuts for women over 60. And once you understand what it actually does for the face, the reason becomes entirely clear. This is not the heavy, blunt bob of earlier decades. The modern version is softer, lighter, and far more flattering. It typically falls between the chin and just below the jawline, and the real magic lives in the layers, gentle, intentionally placed layers that lift, frame, and illuminate the mature face in a way that a one-length cut simply cannot achieve. As we move through our 60s, the face naturally softens. The jawline becomes less defined. The neck area loses some of its earlier crispness. A heavy, blunt bob without layers can quietly draw the eye downward, emphasizing these shifts rather than working around them. The soft layered bob reverses that effect entirely. Those thoughtfully placed layers catch the light beautifully, create gentle upward movement, and draw attention toward your cheekbones, your eyes, and your smile, the most expressive, most radiant parts of any woman's face. What makes this cut so popular among women in this age group is its remarkable adaptability. Fine or thinning hair benefits enormously from internal layers that create the illusion of body and fullness without sacrificing length. Thicker or wavier hair benefits from layers that remove bulk with intention, allowing the bob to fall cleanly and with quiet elegance. Whatever your texture, your hair becomes something your stylist works with, not against. Face shape matters here, and it is a conversation worth having with your stylist before scissors ever touch your hair. For rounder faces, a bob landing just below the jaw adds length and beautiful definition. For square faces, softly curved layers around the jawline ease those angles naturally. For heart-shaped faces, a little extra fullness at the ends brings lovely balance. This cut molds itself to your structure, not the other way around. Color can take this haircut to an entirely new level. A soft balayage or root smudge, where your natural silver or white root blends gently into lighter, warmer tones, adds depth and dimension that flat, solid color simply cannot offer. The way light plays across those layers creates a luminosity that makes the entire look feel richer, more polished, and more intentional. It is the kind of hair that makes people stop and take a second look. Not because it is trendy, but because it is genuinely beautiful. And the styling? Blissfully simple. A round brush and a blow dryer give you polished volume. A flat iron used softly at the ends creates a classic, curved under finish that reads as timeless. On easy mornings, a little texturizing cream, and letting it air dry gives you soft, natural movement. This cut asks very little of you while giving back a great deal. Women who make this switch often describe something they didn't fully anticipate. It wasn't just a new haircut. It was a new feeling, a quiet confidence that came from looking in the mirror and genuinely loving what looked back. More alive, more luminous, more completely and beautifully themselves. That is what a great haircut at its very best is meant to do. The wispy textured pixie that turns heads. The textured pixie cut carries a reputation that has held strong for decades, and in 2026, it is more relevant, more refined, and more empowering for women over 60 than it has ever been. If you have been curious about going short, this cut deserves your full attention. What separates the modern textured pixie from its older counterparts is movement. Gone is the stiff, helmet-shaped pixie of the past. Today's version is built with wispy, feathered layers that create softness, lift, and dimension all at once. The crown is given subtle height. The sides are tapered gently. The top layers are left slightly longer and styled with texture so the cut breathes and moves rather than sitting flat. For women over 60, this matters enormously. One of the most common concerns in this season of life is hair that has become finer, thinner, or less voluminous over time. A blunt or heavy style can make fine hair look even more sparse and flat. But the textured pixie works in the opposite direction. It is architecturally designed to create the appearance of fullness. Those wispy layers add visual dimension. The light bounces between them. The whole cut gives the impression of healthy, abundant hair, even when the actual density has decreased. And then there is the face framing element, which is where this cut quietly shines for mature women. Soft wisps left slightly longer around the temples and the cheekbone area create a gentle frame that draws the eye upward and inward, highlighting the eyes and cheekbones while softening the forehead and jaw. A good stylist will use point cutting to feather those ends so they do not sit bluntly but instead melt into the skin beautifully. Face shape plays an important role in how this cut is personalized. For oval and heart-shaped faces, the textured pixie is nearly universally flattering. The natural proportions complement the cut beautifully. For rounder faces, adding a little extra height at the crown and keeping the sides tighter helps to elongate and define. For square faces, those wispy temple layers do beautiful work in softening the jawline. Color deserves special mention here. Silver, platinum, and white hair look absolutely stunning with a textured pixie. The natural highlights and shadows within naturally gray hair interact with the cut's layers in a way that gives the entire style a luminous, multidimensional quality. If you have been hiding your gray, this might be the cut that finally makes you want to embrace it. Maintenance is genuinely minimal. A small amount of texturizing cream or light pomade work through slightly damp hair, followed by a quick fingerstyle or a soft brush, and you are done. On many mornings, this cut is a literal 5-minute style. That kind of ease is a gift that only grows more valuable as the years go on. Women who make the leap to a textured pixie often describe a surprising shift in how others perceive them. They stand out. They look deliberately styled, not because they spent hours in front of the mirror, but because a well-executed cut carries its own authority. Confident, modern, completely themselves. The classic lob with face-framing layers. If there is one haircut that consistently appears on the most requested lists at salons worldwide, not just this year, but year after year, it is the layered lob. And for women over 60, it earns that reputation every single time. The lob, which is simply a longer bob, falls between the collarbone and the shoulder. But what transforms it from a basic medium-length cut into something genuinely rejuvenating is the addition of intentional, face-framing layers. These are not layers added randomly throughout the hair. They are precisely placed at the front, starting around the cheekbone or slightly below, so that they curve softly toward the face, warm the complexion, and create a beautiful visual frame around your most important features. For the mature woman, this framing effect is deeply flattering. As the face changes with age, the eye can sometimes drift toward areas we feel less confident about: the neck, the jawline, the forehead. Face framing layers redirect all of that. They bring the gaze back to the center, back to your eyes, back to your expression. It is a gentle, elegant sleight of hand that makes a profound difference. The length of the lob is also important for this age group in particular. It is long enough to provide versatility. You can pull it back softly, tuck it behind the ears, or add a gentle wave, but short enough that it does not drag the face downward or feel heavy. It hits a sweet spot that a longer style or a very short cut cannot always achieve. Texture and movement are where this cut truly comes alive. A lob with no layers and no texture can fall flat and feel shapeless within weeks. But when your stylist adds soft layers throughout the interior and uses point cutting at the ends, the hair gains a natural bounce and movement that looks effortless. Combined with a subtle wave or a light blow-dry, it gives you that rich, polished appearance that feels expensive without requiring expensive salon visits every few weeks. If your hair has begun to thin slightly at the crown, something many women in their 60s experience, the lob is also one of the kindest cuts available. The length above the shoulder creates a visual illusion of density. The layers add body, And a good dry cutting technique at the ends helps the hair sit with more fullness rather than falling limp. Color works beautifully alongside this cut. A soft lived-in balayage, cool blonde tones blended through natural silver, or warm champagne highlights woven through a white or gray base, gives the lob an additional layer of dimension that enhances the face framing layers even further. The result is hair that looks healthy, intentional, and quietly luxurious. Women who choose the layered lob often say it feels like the version of their hair they always wanted. Feminine without being fussy. Elegant without being stiff. Easy enough for a Tuesday morning. Beautiful enough for a Saturday evening. That is the layered lob at its very best. Curtain bangs with flowing shoulder-length hair. Few haircut elements have generated as much excitement in the beauty world over the past few years as curtain bangs. And among women in their 60s, the enthusiasm is completely justified. Because when curtain bangs are done correctly, they are quietly, powerfully transformative. Unlike traditional blunt bangs that cut straight across the forehead in a heavy, solid line, curtain bangs are soft, parted in the center or slightly to one side, and swept gently to each side of the face. Exactly like a pair of curtains being drawn open. The effect is beautifully romantic and deeply flattering, especially for mature women. Here is why this matters so much for women over 60. The forehead can be an area of self-consciousness as we age. Fine lines, changes in texture, a slightly more prominent appearance as hairlines subtly shift. Curtain bangs address all of this with extraordinary grace. They soften the forehead without covering it completely. They frame the eyes and draw attention upward. And because they blend seamlessly into the rest of the hair rather than creating a hard line, they look completely natural. Like your hair simply falls that way. Paired with shoulder-length layers, the complete look is one of the most rejuvenating and elegant combinations available to the mature woman right now. The shoulder-length cut provides volume and structure. The layers give the hair beautiful movement. And the curtain bangs bring the entire look together by framing the face with softness and intention. One of the most common concerns about bangs in this age group is maintenance. Women worry about growing them out, about styling them, about having to be at the salon too frequently just to keep them in shape. But curtain bangs are uniquely forgiving on all of these fronts. They grow out gracefully, simply getting longer and softer as they do. They require very little styling. A quick blow-dry with a round brush, sweeping each side gently outward, takes only a few minutes. And because they are not blunt, even when they are slightly past their prime length, they still look intentional and pretty. Texture is important when it comes to curtain bangs. They look beautiful on straight hair, where they can be styled smooth and sleek, or given a slight bend at the ends. On wavy hair, they take on a soft, tousled quality that feels wonderfully lived in. On naturally curly hair, a little light product and a gentle diffuse gives them a gorgeous, effortless shape. No matter your natural texture, curtain bangs can be adapted to work with it beautifully. If you have a smaller forehead or a heart-shaped face, curtain bangs are perhaps the single most flattering thing you can do for your face shape. They break the visual width of the forehead and draw the eye down and inward. For oval faces, they add a romantic softness. For square faces, that center part gently reduces the visual width of the jaw. For almost every face shape, curtain bangs bring something beautiful to the picture. This is the haircut that makes people ask, in the gentlest and most sincere way, "What have you done differently? You look wonderful." The bichia, the most exciting cut of this era. If you have not yet heard of the bichia, it is time to let this extraordinary haircut properly introduce itself. Because among all the styles currently captivating women over 60, the bichia might be the most exciting, the most modern, and the most quietly revolutionary. The bichia sits perfectly between a bob and a pixie cut. Longer than a traditional pixie, shorter than a classic bob. It typically falls just below the ear, with layered, textured pieces throughout and a slightly longer section in the front that can be tucked behind the ear or swept to the side. The result is a cut that carries the freedom and ease of a pixie with the femininity and softness of a bob. For women in their 60s, the bichia answers a question that has quietly lingered in the back of many minds. What if I want something short, but I am not quite ready for a full pixie? This is that answer. You get the boldness of going shorter than you have been, the lift, the freshness, the effortlessness, without the commitment of having hair above the ear on all sides. What makes the biscia especially rejuvenating for the mature face is the way the layers interact with the face. Soft layers at the crown create beautiful volume and height, something many women over 60 genuinely need, as hair tends to flatten at the crown over time. Longer pieces around the face, cut with point cutting so they feather rather than blunt, create an elegant frame. The overall effect is a face that looks lifted, defined, and completely refreshed. This cut also handles fine or thinning hair with remarkable intelligence. Because the hair is shorter overall, there is less weight pulling it down. Less weight means more natural lift. More lift means the appearance of greater density. Women who have spent years struggling with hair that lays flat by midday often discover that a biscia solves the problem entirely. No product, no teasing, no tricks required. Styling is beautifully simple. A light volumizing mousse or texturizing cream worked through damp hair, followed by a quick diffuse or finger dry, gives you texture and movement in minutes. A small flat iron can create soft bends in the longer front pieces for a more polished finish. On the most relaxed mornings, you can literally just shake your hair and go, and it will still look intentional and chic. The biscia also happens to be one of the most flattering cuts for silver, white, and salt and pepper hair. The layered texture creates a natural interplay of light and shadow within the hair color, making even a fully gray head of hair look dimensional, modern, and luminous rather than flat or aged. Women who try the biscia often say the same beautiful thing. They wish they had done it years earlier. It is the cut that feels like finally saying yes to yourself, to confidence, to ease, to a look that is as bold and beautiful as you are. Stacked bob with a tapered nape. The stacked bob is one of those haircuts that looks effortlessly polished in every situation. Morning coffee, afternoon errands, a dinner out, and for women over 60, it brings a level of structure and refinement that very few other cuts can match. What makes a stacked bob distinct from an ordinary bob is the architecture at the back. The layers at the nape of the neck are cut short and stacked, meaning they are layered vertically over one another to create height and roundness at the back of the head. This stacking creates a beautiful silhouette when viewed from any angle, giving the head a full, rounded shape that reads as polished and intentional. The front sections are left slightly longer, framing the face, which creates an angled look from the sides. Longer in the front, beautifully sculpted in the back. For women over 60, the stacked bob addresses several concerns at once. First, it adds volume where it is often most needed, at the back of the head and the crown. As hair thins with age, the back of the head can begin to look flat and without shape. The stacking corrects this immediately, giving you visible volume without the use of products or tools. Second, the clean, defined silhouette of a stacked bob communicates elegance and intentionality. It is the kind of haircut that looks like you care about your appearance, without looking like you spent hours achieving it. The tapered nape is the other defining feature of this cut, and it is where a skilled stylist truly earns their reputation. The hair at the nape is tapered, cut closely and cleanly, which creates a delicate, refined edge that reads as polished and sophisticated. A beautifully tapered nape also makes the neck look longer, which is deeply flattering for mature women, and creates an overall impression of elegance. Face shape plays an interesting role with the stacked bob. The angled structure naturally adds length to the face, which makes it especially beautiful for rounder or fuller face shapes. For longer faces, the added width at the back of the head creates a natural balance. For heart-shaped faces, the volume at the back can counterbalance a wider forehead beautifully. The stacked bob is surprisingly versatile in this way. It works across many different face shapes with only small adjustments in angle and length. Color looks spectacular with this cut. Rich dimensional tones. A deep silver with lighter platinum pieces woven in, or a classic salt and pepper with soft balayage highlights, catch the light on those stacked layers in a way that creates movement and visual interest even when the hair itself is still. The back of the head becomes something genuinely beautiful from all angles. Styling takes only a few minutes. A round brush directed upward at the back during blow-drying reinforces the stacked shape beautifully. A light smoothing serum on the front sections gives a polished finish. That is truly all this cut requires. Women who wear the stacked bob often notice a change in how they carry themselves. There is a precision to this cut, a sense that everything is intentional, and that precision communicates confidence in a way that feels deeply empowering. lived-in silver balayage with soft cascading layers. We have saved this one for last because it is perhaps the most quietly revolutionary thing happening in hair care for women over 60 right now. And it is not just a haircut. It is a complete philosophy shift about what beautiful hair at this age truly looks like. The lived-in silver balayage with soft cascading layers is a style that embraces your natural color as a starting point and elevates it with technique, intention, and artistry. The base is your own silver, white, or salt and pepper growth. Through balayage, a hand-painting technique where lighter tones are swept through the mid-lengths and ends. A colorist adds cool platinum, warm champagne, or soft pearl tones that create depth, dimension, and movement throughout the hair. The result is hair that looks multidimensional, expensive, and luminous rather than flat or one note. Paired with soft cascading layers, this style reaches its full potential. The layers, cut gently throughout the mid-lengths and ends, give the hair beautiful movement that works with the balayage tones. As the hair moves, different tones catch the light in different ways. The hair appears to shimmer. It appears alive. And because the color is not placed uniformly but instead hand-painted with an artistic eye, it grows out naturally and gracefully. You do not end up with a hard, obvious root line after 6 weeks. The maintenance is beautifully low. This style works across a range of lengths, from a longer lob that touches the collarbone to a medium-length cut that falls just past the shoulders. The length gives the layers space to cascade and move, which is where the magic truly happens. With shorter styles, this technique can be adapted, but the full beauty of the cascading effect is best experienced with a little more length to work with. For women who have spent years coloring their hair to cover gray, this style offers something profound. Permission to stop hiding and start showcasing. Natural silver and white hair has a quality, a natural shimmer, a softness, that dye can never fully replicate. When a skilled colorist works with that natural base rather than against it, the result is frequently the most beautiful hair a woman has ever had. Not in spite of the silver, but because of it. This is also one of the most deeply nourishing choices for the hair itself. Moving away from full coverage color and toward a gentler balayage technique means significantly less chemical processing, less potential damage, and healthier, stronger strands over time. The hair grows stronger. The texture improves. The ends feel more vital. Women who make this transition often describe a moment of recognition. Looking in the mirror and seeing not just their hair, but themselves. Fully unapologetically themselves. Silver and shimmering and completely, radiantly at home in their own skin. This is the haircut, and the hair philosophy, that stays with you. Not just for a season, but for the rest of your beautifully, intentionally lived life. Your hair is never just hair. It is the first thing you see in the mirror every morning. It is part of the story you tell the world before you say a single word. And when it feels right, when it truly fits who you are, it changes everything. The way you stand, the way you walk into a room, the way you feel about the woman looking back at you. Every one of the 7 haircuts we explored today was chosen because it does something real for the mature woman. Not by chasing trends or trying to look like someone you are not, but by working with your features, your texture, and your natural beauty to bring out the very best version of you. Whether you are drawn to the soft layered bob, the effortless bisha, the romantic curtain bangs, or the luminous silver balayage with layers, there is something here for you. Take your time. Save the images. Bring them to your stylist and have a real conversation about what could work beautifully for your unique face and hair. You deserve to walk into your next decade feeling radiant. You deserve to love what you see. And you deserve a haircut that says clearly and confidently that you are not done. Not even close. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path.